He didn't lose everything in one bad decision. He lost it slowly, by thinking too much about every single one. Ethan Walker was known as the reliable one, the guy who planned ahead, the guy who never rushed, the guy people trusted when something really mattered. At 34, Ethan had built a life most people quietly admired. A steady job as a product manager at a mid-sized tech company in Austin, a small but modern apartment, a long-term relationship with someone who believed in him deeply, and a reputation for being thoughtful, careful, and intelligent. But beneath that calm exterior lived a constant mental noise. Ethan didn't just think, he overthought. Every email took 10 minutes longer than necessary. Every meeting replayed in his head afterward. Every choice, even small ones, branched into 1,000 possible futures. He believed this made him responsible, mature, safe. What he didn't realize was that his mind had slowly turned into a courtroom where every decision was endlessly questioned, cross-examined, and delayed. At work, Ethan was respected, but he was also stuck. Promotions passed him by, not because he lacked talent, but because he hesitated. He asked for more data, more projections, more time. His manager once said, kindly, "Ethan, you're brilliant, but sometimes you need to move forward even when things aren't perfectly clear." Ethan nodded. He always nodded. And then he went home and replayed that sentence for hours. At home, his girlfriend Claire tried to understand him. She was patient, emotionally intelligent, and grounded in ways Ethan admired but didn't fully share. She made decisions with her heart when logic reached its limit. They talked about the future often. Marriage, maybe kids, maybe moving to a different city. And every time the conversation reached that edge, where a real decision lived, Ethan felt his chest tighten. "What if we're rushing?" he'd say. "What if we change in 5 years? What if there's a better time?" Claire would smile softly, but her eyes carried a question she rarely asked out loud. How long are we going to wait for certainty that never comes? Ethan told himself he was protecting what he had built. In reality, he was afraid of breaking it. The opportunity arrived on an ordinary Tuesday. Ethan's company was launching a new internal innovation team. Small, high risk, high reward. The kind of role that could redefine a career, or quietly end one. His manager called him into the office. "I recommended you," she said, "but I need an answer by Friday." Ethan felt the familiar rush, excitement tangled with fear. This was the moment he had imagined and avoided at the same time. That night, he opened a blank document titled Decision Analysis. Pros, cons, financial impact, career trajectory, worst-case scenarios, backup plans, exit options. The list grew longer with every hour. At the same time, Claire was waiting for an answer of her own. She had been offered a teaching position in Denver, something she had wanted for years. She didn't expect Ethan to decide immediately. She just needed to know if he was willing to build a future that moved forward. "You don't have to say yes to everything," she told him gently. "I just need to know you're not always saying no out of fear." Ethan promised he'd think about it. He always did. By Thursday night, he hadn't slept. His mind was spinning with imagined failures, hypothetical regrets, and futures that only existed in his head. Friday came. At work, he asked for more time. His manager sighed, not in anger, but in disappointment. "We need someone who can commit. I can't hold the position open." At home, Claire packed a suitcase. "I love you," she said, "but I can't pause my life forever while you analyze yours." She didn't slam the door. She didn't yell. She simply left. Ethan sat alone in the apartment, surrounded by the life he had carefully protected, now suddenly fragile, quiet, and uncertain. At first, Ethan told himself he had done the responsible thing. He kept his job, he avoided risk, he stayed safe. But safety, he learned, can be lonely. The innovation team succeeded without him. One of his colleagues, less experienced, more decisive, rose quickly. Ethan congratulated him with a polite smile and a knot in his stomach. Claire moved to Denver. Her messages grew less frequent. Then they stopped. Evenings became long and silent. Ethan filled them the only way he knew how, by thinking. He replayed conversations, rewrote outcomes, imagined alternate versions of himself who had been braver, faster, more willing to accept uncertainty. But overthinking couldn't change the past. It only sharpened the regret. Months passed. Ethan noticed something unsettling. His confidence was shrinking. Decisions that once felt manageable now felt heavy. He second-guessed everything, from what to say in meetings to what groceries to buy. Overthinking had trained his brain to see danger everywhere. One night, scrolling aimlessly on his phone, Ethan came across a quote. "You don't need more time. You need less fear." He stared at it longer than he wanted to admit. For the first time, he didn't analyze it. He just felt it. Ethan began therapy not because something was wrong, but because he was tired of being trapped inside his own mind. Slowly, he learned something uncomfortable and freeing. Overthinking wasn't intelligence. It was avoidance disguised as responsibility. He learned that clarity often comes after action, not before. That every meaningful choice carries risk, and that trying to eliminate uncertainty often eliminates growth. He practiced making small decisions quickly, not perfectly, just honestly. Some worked out, some didn't, but something unexpected happened. His sense of self began to return. Months later, another opportunity came, smaller than the last, less dramatic, but real. This time, Ethan didn't open a spreadsheet. He asked himself one simple question. Am I choosing this out of fear or out of values? He said yes. The outcome wasn't life-changing in the way movies promise, but it was something quieter and more powerful. Momentum. Ethan didn't rebuild everything overnight. Some things, like his relationship with Claire, belonged to the past, and he learned to accept that not all losses are meant to be recovered. But he stopped letting his thoughts destroy what his effort had built. He learned that thinking is useful, but living requires movement. How many opportunities have you postponed? Not because you weren't ready, but because you were afraid of choosing wrong. And what might your life look like if you trusted yourself enough to move forward without knowing every outcome?